Warhammer 40k Darktide is here, and after years of waiting, we can finally take our fight to the enemy, rise, and be amongst the God Emperor's most prized weapons of war. Hey there friends, it's Codiak here, and today I'm sharing everything I wish I knew sooner about Fatshark's first-person co-op horde-style action game, Darktide. First up, let's talk about the Auspex, or as I like to call it, the Scanny tool. Some of you might not know this even exists, which is why we're including it in this video. Certain missions, specifically investigation missions, require you to periodically pull out the Auspex and scan for plague infestation. Until your team has scanned the required number of things, you won't be able to move to the next zone. Now, the simple trick here is to make sure you identify when something needs to be scanned. Just look at the active objective in the upper right-hand corner of the screen. If it says the word scan anywhere up there, then you know it's time to pull out the Scanny tool. To do this, all you need to do is hit the 4 key on your keyboard. This will equip the tool. Hold down the right mouse button to activate the tracking function. Your goal is to move towards the big green circles on the display. Orient yourself so that the orb is directly in front of you, and then move towards it until the device is beeping and the thing to be scanned is glowing. Part of why I'm sharing this tip is because it's such a crucial element of team play. The longer you're in one spot, the more enemies get hurled your way, so the faster you can scan, the sooner you can be on your way. Alright, one more really simple trick before we get into some of the more nuanced stuff. We've been in a few groups with players that didn't understand some basic game concepts, like corruption. Corruption reduces your maximum health and restricts your ability to heal back to full health. You get corruption primarily by being knocked down, so there's a real reason for making sure you never get downed. Corruption can only be removed at a Medicae station. That means the medkits you place out in the field will not remove corruption and will only heal you up until that corruption threshold. If you have a lot of corruption, your goal should be to find a Medicae station as quickly as possible. Consider playing a bit more defensively when you're in this state, because if you get downed again while having that corruption, you'll inherit an even bigger reduction to your max health via more corruption. It's got a nasty compounding effect, which is why it should be a priority to get rid of it. Alright, next up, let's talk about an important tip for teams. Something I learned recently was that when a teammate is down, you can track their progress to death by looking at the darker part of the triangle indicator. Think of it like a vertical health bar. The darker part indicates how much health they have left. The closer that bar is to the bottom of the triangle, the closer your teammate is to dead. Why does this matter, you might be asking? Well, it's all about planning. Sometimes, especially in the harder difficulties, killing enemies takes priority to saving your teammate. That's just the way it is. That means having a visual indicator to let you know how much time you have left to reach them is a pretty important factor. This next tip has more to do with your own sanity than anything else. If you're like me, you've most likely been in a round where someone just randomly decides to go AFK without a word. In most cases, it's normal to wait a minute or two, but after that, it's time to move on, and you actually have some control as a player. Instead of waiting for the game to remove them after the idle timer, you can vote to kick them in the menus. I'll be honest, I didn't realize this was even possible until someone on my team used it to kick out another member that was gone for about 5 minutes. To initiate a vote to kick, all you need to do is pause your game. Then head to the social tab, and there you'll see your strike team on the left-hand side. Click on the person you'd like to kick, and a new menu will pop up. On the right side of your screen, click Vote to Kick from Strike Team. This will trigger a vote for the rest of the team. All 3 other members will need to agree to kick the player before it actually happens, but this is a pretty awesome feature when you're dealing with someone that's AFK. Next up, we have a simple yet important tip for those that care about the way their character looks within Darktide. This one is pretty obvious, but if you usually have a tendency to skim or completely ignore achievement systems, then this is your warning to forego that habit. Completing Penances is an in-game way of unlocking new cosmetics, borders, and other tchotchkes for your characters. Things are broken out into various categories, but some of the more interesting penances are class-specific and require some serious playtime and skill with those classes. The team also does a good job showcasing which penances you're close to completing, so you can focus in on those if you want. Nonetheless, this isn't a menu to ignore, especially if you want to get out of your convict garb and into something a bit more fitting for a member of the warband. Next, let's talk about audio cues, specifically how audio cues can be used to understand what enemies your team is about to encounter. I love that Fatshark uses audio to help inform the combat situation. It's such a unique way to approach a specific challenge and feels truly special to their game. So let's break it down. If you hear this, a pox hound is about to rush your team. Hound pathing is a bit weird, but this is one of the enemies that can completely incapacitate your teammate unless rescued by someone else, so be on alert. This next sound means a pox burster is nearby. Remember this scene from Two Towers? That's exactly what pox bursters do. They run at your team, and if they get close enough, do a little jump and dive, then explode. Your job is to identify them, preferably mark them, and kill them as fast as possible. The sound does speed up and get louder as it gets closer, so be on alert. If you hear this sound, then a horde is heading your way. These are primarily made up of low-tier enemies, but the chaos of lots of little enemies can easily overwhelm a team, especially if they're already dealing with other enemies. This subtle yet distinct sound lets you know that a Dreg Tox Flamer is on their way. These flamers are equipped with flamethrowers which have remarkably long range, so it's best to deal with them as fast as humanly possible. If you hear this sound, then a mutant is quite literally charging towards your team. Easily one of the most annoying enemies in the game, these brutes will rush one member of your team, and if they reach them, will pick them up and slam them around. The final two sounds indicate when you're about to come face to face with a monstrosity, namely the Beast of Nurgle and the Plague Ogre. Each has a distinct sound, and it's important that you recognize them. The Plague Ogre sounds like this, and the Beast of Nurgle sounds like this. If you hear either, you better be ready for a fight. These sounds are crucial to identify during a mission, and a simple way to make sure you always hear them: turn down your music. Our team actually plays most games without music, so we can add our own music into our videos later on. So we haven't had this issue, but we see a lot of folks on the forums talking about how hard it is to hear enemy sounds. Well, there's your solution. Maybe bring your music down to 50%, and if that doesn't help, bring it down even further. It should give the enemy sounds some room to pop through that noise floor. Alright, after that deep dive, let's bring it back to something simple. There are a few missions in the game where your team will have to collect batteries or ammunition, basically something that looks like this. These items have to be carried on your shoulder and restrict your ability to move quickly. You can, however, throw them. This is a really useful trick if you need to get the item across a gap and say a teammate is there to receive said thrown deliverable. Throwing the item can lead to a faster outcome when dealing with these specific objectives, but you really have to have a team that understands it's part of the process. If it's just one player throwing things, it really doesn't solve for much, but if the entire team is in sync, then it's very possible it can shave seconds, if not minutes, off your completion time. It's also worth mentioning that Ogrins don't have to deal with a movement penalty when picking up these items, so if you have one on your team, make sure they're doing the heavy lifting, because most likely it'll result in a faster, more efficient completion of the objective. This next tip annoys me more than anything else on our list. Did you know that in Darktide, you can sell your items for Ordo dockets? No? Don't worry, the rest of the world didn't either. In an attempt to streamline the menus, the team decided to just give players a simple discard function. However, when you do discard something, you do receive Ordo dockets. This is actually a pretty big deal when leveling up, as you don't have a lot of funds to play with, and you're constantly hunting for a new weapon at the armory to help you break into harder difficulties. I fully expect this to be patched out at some point. In my mind, there's no way they can just leave this in the game as is, but you never know. Stranger things have happened. Let's pick things up and talk about hordes. We mentioned them before, but I think we need to take a second to really look at how best to handle these massive waves of enemies. Darktide maps never change, so after a few runs, you really get familiar with the layout of each mission. Use that to your advantage. When you hear that horde sound, start looking for a choke point. This is easily the best way to handle a horde. It doesn't have to be a perfect situation, just any sort of way to funnel enemies into your area so your team can tear them apart. When hordes are at their most deadly is when rushing a team in a big open area, but on the flip side, when they're easiest to manage is when they are funneled through a small opening or have to climb up ledges. Then they're ripe for the picking. Use this strategy and you'll never get overwhelmed. If there's one tip I want you to take to heart, it's this next one. When you complete your last objective in a mission, please just run to the extraction point. Don't get cute, try and get a couple more kills in, because believe you me, everything can come crashing down right at the very end. In fact, this almost happened to our team just the other day. We were having a great run, right up until the last possible moment. We didn't hustle through the final doorway, got pinched on both sides, and nearly lost 20 minutes of work because we got careless. Bottom line, clear the objective and run to the end. Don't worry about your teammates, don't worry about getting a few more kills. It's not worth the risk of losing out on all that sweet XP you would otherwise gain by completing the mission. At the time of releasing this video, there are 3 monstrosities in the game: the brutal Plague Ogren, the disgusting Beast of Nurgle, and the brand new Demon Host. Both are formidable enemies with large health pools and a moveset that will drive you and your team bonkers, but they are killable. Each has an Achilles heel, a weak point worth exploiting if you're hoping for a quick and painless encounter. For the Beast of Nurgle, that weak point is on its back. You'll see a bright yellow sack, and attacking this will count as a critical hit and you'll deal additional damage. For the Plague Ogren, you best aim for the head. In classic video game fashion, that big meaty skull is just the perfect place to put a few well-placed bullets, netting you some critical hits. There is a third monstrosity just released into the game called the Demon Host. This enemy is so remarkably different than the Plague Ogren and Beast of Nurgle, but equally, if not more, terrifying. The boss lies dormant until disturbed. If your team attacks the Demon Host or shines a light on it, similar to the Witch from Left 4 Dead, the monstrosity will engage. Here's the thing about this boss: it really is a DPS check. It will relentlessly pursue a member of your team until they're knocked out. If the boss knocks out that teammate, it'll then channel a special ability and instantly kill them, removing them from the equation. This is a dangerous enemy, one you either need to nuke down or avoid entirely before it's too late. While any damage to these monstrosities is acceptable, there's something to be said about the team that can take them out of the equation quickly. Not only are they some of the most deadly enemies in the game, but when fighting alongside other enemies, things can get out of hand quickly. So best practice for perfect and hit those weak points. Alright, so next up I want to talk about coherency and the importance of staying together as a team. I cannot sell you enough on this concept because teamwork is at the heart of Darktide. Sometimes when people tell you that, it's BS, right? You're a good player, you can handle pretty much anything. Well, you can't handle Darktide when you're not in coherency range, and that's just the truth. Coherency has some important impact on your team. First, you need to know where to look to find coherency. It's directly to the right of your health bar. The number is dynamic and will change based on the number of players in range. Now, that coherency affects a few things. First is toughness. The more players in coherency range, the faster your toughness replenishes after being depleted. And second, every class has a different aura that provides their team with a buff if they're in coherency range. On top of that, every class has feats that are affected by coherency, so the more you stick together, the better your combat performance will be. You'll most likely never know the full impact of those effects, but trust me, they're there. Staying together also becomes vital in the harder difficulties because, quite frankly, most single players can't handle the overwhelming force of the enemy's Fatshark throws your way. There are certain points of each map where you'll need to jump down to a lower landing, and at these ledge points, it's really important to make sure your team is all together. In a perfect world, you're communicating via voice comms when to jump, but in most situations, you're not going to be talking to your team. You have to be paying attention. If someone is overzealous and jumps, it's usually best to follow suit. A team that stays together wins together and all that good stuff. On the flip side, if your team jumps and you stay on the ledge, well, that's not great either. Consider enemies like the Trapper and the Hound, which have the ability to incapacitate you. Without your teammates, you're trapped and will eventually die, and if you're caught out on a ledge by yourself, you're an easy target. Staying together was less of a factor in Fatshark's previous game, Vermintide 2. It was still important, sure, but not in the same way it matters in Darktide. Believe me when I say a large part of your success has to do with how good you are at staying with your team and keeping a strong coherency. In the spirit of team play, the final thing you need to know has to do with ammo. Next to your teammate's picture, you'll see a little ammo icon. If that icon is white, that player has full or nearly full ammo. If it's yellow, they're starting to run low on ammo. Orange means they're dangerously low. And if it's red, that means they are out of ammo. So if you have an ammo crate and are wondering when to drop it, glance over at your teammates and hook them up. While it might not matter to some, I thought it was important to point out some of the primary objectives in Darktide. Each type of mission influences the gameplay in a different way. missions aren't created equal, and choosing to fight a boss on level 1 is much different than fighting a boss on level 5, so it's important to know what you're getting into. Raid is a mission where you're collecting valuable materials for the Imperium. Assassination is when you have to take down a high-priority target, and these missions will always end with a boss fight. Strike is your standard, straightforward mission where you're just pushing through to the end. Espionage is when you mess with enemy intelligence and feed them false information. These missions often require you to use the special data interrogator tool. Repair is a mission where you have to repair a critical piece of technology, keeping Tertium alive. Disruption is when you inject yourself right in the middle of the heretics' plans and disrupt everything. And investigation is when you use a servo skull to scan key locations for intel. These missions require you to use the Scanny tool we talked about earlier in this video. We found that these missions usually run a few minutes longer than average, mostly because of the lack of understanding around the Auspex tool, but we expect this to change as people get more familiar with the game. I also want to point out special conditions that change other aspects of the map. The one in particular I want to call out is called Fewer Hordes. This is such an awesome affix as it reduces the number of hordes that get called in during a round. That's it. No tricks, no black magic, just an easier mission. With this condition active on a map, we found that we could push the difficulty 1 or 2 tiers above where we would normally run because of the less chaotic nature of that mission. It's still tough, and the higher you go, the more elites you have to contend with, but it's well worth the risk and the extra XP for completing a more challenging encounter. As a Psyker main, I love this next tip because it has literally helped propel our team to success on some really challenging missions. If you didn't already know, the pinging system in Darktide is pretty decent. You look towards whatever elite enemy you want to ping, tap a button, and bam, everyone on the team can see that enemy's movements, whether they're visible or not. It's a great tool to help your team focus fire on a priority target, but this becomes an even bigger deal when you consider some of the map conditions that impair your team's vision. In those cases, when you're dealing with either fog or lack of light, you can still use the ping system to great effect. Just aim in the general direction of the enemy and spam your ping button until you get a hit. It's a really simple and effective way of still being able to mark targets even though you can't see them. This matters a lot for our group because it allows me, again a Psyker main, to pop the heads of those targets before they even remotely hurt our team. It's been a game changer for us, and I think it will be for you too. You might already know that missions can sometimes come with different secondary objectives. In this case, I want to focus in on one secondary objective in particular, locating grimoires. These are books you find laying around the game world, and by picking them up and beating the level, you gain a little bit more XP, but that's not what I want to talk about. What's more important to understand is the effect grimoires have on your team. As soon as you pick up a book, your team will start taking corruption. While holding a grimoire, that corruption cannot be removed via a Medicae station, which means, effectively, your max HP has been reduced. If you pick up a second grimoire, that max HP is reduced even further. You need to think carefully about whether or not you need that extra XP before picking up the item, because on the higher difficulties, that reduction of max health could be the difference between life and death. You can opt to discard the grimoire, and this does remove the corruption, but the book explodes in a cloud of smoke, and you'll lose out on that extra XP when completing the mission. I'll be honest, we didn't realize the grimoire was tied to our max HP, we just thought there was a Medicae bug, but after doing a little testing, it was clear. Our final tip is really about understanding the leveling structure within Darktide and making sure you make the most out of your time with the game. Keep in mind this might change based on the team's rebalancing of Darktide at any given point, but it's important foundational knowledge. If the goal is to reach level 30, then you really should be focusing on the optimal path to reach that point. As you might expect, each difficulty rewards you with a different amount of XP upon completion. Difficulty 1 rewards 1700 XP. If you were only to run level 1 missions, you need to run 78 missions in total to reach max level. Difficulty 2 rewards 1800 XP. If you were only to run level 2 missions, that would drop down to 74 missions. Difficulty 3 rewards 2650 XP. If you were only to run level 3 missions, that number drastically drops, requiring only 50 missions to reach max level. Difficulty 4 missions reward 3550 XP. If you were only to run level 4s, you'd have to complete 38 missions, and difficulty 5 rewards 4300 XP. If you somehow managed to only run level 5s, it would take 31 missions to reach max level. As you can see, there's a big jump between difficulty 2 and 3, and this is really what I want to draw your attention to. If you have a solid group, usually not a pickup, and you can break into difficulty 3 missions, you're going to soar through leveling much faster. Add on to this any sort of conditional factors and or side objectives, and that level 3 mission can easily net you thousands of XP. Remember to look out for that fewer hordes modifier I mentioned before. It's a condition that makes the game easier and rewards you with bonus XP, so keep your eyes peeled at all times. Conditions and side objectives both award XP, so if you find a mission with both, you should consider taking it so long as you have the right group to complete it effectively. Also remember that side objectives reward XP based on how many items you find. So if the goal is to find 3 scriptures and you only find 2, you still get XP for finding those 2. Searching for these items does take time, and every minute you add means minutes away from completing other missions, so be wary of spending too much time hunting for trinkets. We plan on doing a deeper dive into XP closer to launch when changes to the game settle down, so keep an eye on the channel if you're interested in that guide. So there you have it, everything we wish we knew sooner about Fatshark's latest game, Warhammer 40k Darktide. There's no doubt the game will continue to evolve over the next year or two, and we plan on covering all the action here on the channel, so if you want to stay up to date with everything going on in the Warhammer universe, consider subscribing. We've also got our eye on 2023 and a number of big games coming out very soon. In fact, we have 2 awesome videos detailing all of the games we're looking forward to playing and talking about here on the channel, so if you're interested, give those videos a watch. Finally, if you want to support the channel, how about picking up a piece of Legacy Gaming merch? Our first ever collection is available to buy right now on our website at legacygaming.gg/shop. You can pick up a shirt, a hoodie, or a hat, and all the proceeds go right back into helping build our channel. My name is Codiak, and from everyone here at Legacy Gaming, thanks for watching, and play on.